just to give people an idea of where I was at to where I am now. Before, when I first found out about Deathloop, I wasn't really that interested in it. I thought it sounded cool. I was getting a lot of roguelike vibes, and you know how I was before Hades, before Returnal, how I felt about roguelikes. Just not the biggest fan. That's changed since then, especially with those two games that I just mentioned. And Deathloop, it doesn't even play like a roguelike. That's the thing. Like roguelike, you automatically assume that, hey, you once you die, you lose everything. And for the most part, it's kind of like that. However, there's a big thing. There's so many different things you can do to kind of prevent that from happening. And I'll get right into it here. So the first thing I want to touch up on is the gameplay.
Wait. This is spoiler free, right?
Yeah, 100% spoiler free. For anything that I'm talking about is what's already been revealed in the trailers. So,
Gotcha. Just making sure for the kids at home.
Yeah, if you want to stay completely away from it, then sure, I guess you could skip, 10 minutes or so, I would say. But I think you're safe. Honestly, I wrote it out confidently that you're not going to get spoiled. It's just not going to happen. All right. So, the solid gameplay, I love the shooting. The shooting mechanics feel great, and the stealth feels really good. And that's, I think the thing is you could do either or. You got your stealth options, or you can just go running and gunning if you want. It's up to you, really. There's no wrong way to play it, Now, some certain things you might miss certain opportunities or stuff that you can discover. But just to give people an idea of how this loop mechanic works. All right. The whole idea is Colt is the main character. You're stuck in this loop and you're trying to break the loop. All right. And so the loop is essentially, or each loop essentially is broken off in 4 different times of the day: morning, noon, afternoon, and night. And how these times of day progress is whenever you go into a certain area, the map is broken into 4 different areas. Whenever you visit an area and come back to your safe house, I guess you can call it, for lack of a better term, then that day is now progressed. So next time you go out, it's now no longer morning, it's now noon. And you come back, you go back out, it's now afternoon and night until the day is done. Once the day is done, it now loops. So you lose everything, depending on what you had. The only thing that really carries over is probably the most important piece that you need, which is information. The whole thing is gathering information. The game works as a very investigative, just discovery game. It definitely benefits you to explore and just find ways to start a loop, but without having to go through what you did the loop prior. You get what I'm saying? So it's just like killing, just sort of cutting the time down in half, essentially, or whatever you're doing there.
Liquid, real quick.
Yeah.
From Chris for Microtransaction.
Yeah.
Two questions. One, you talked about the gameplay, and I want to get to it. Mm-hmm. What do you find yourself more doing with the gameplay? Because I had a text message from you the other day, and you said, I didn't know there was stealth in the game at all. Mm-hmm. And you said, it's stealth or balls to the walls action, end quote. Now, what do you find yourself playing more?
So it's stealth until I get caught. That's really what it is. It's stealth until I get caught. And it's so funny because this is how, because I always start, whenever I start once I leave the safe house, right, I usually leave without any weapons, which because I'm like, I'm going to find it on the field. That's how I play. I'm like, I feel like if anything, the weapons are more, even though there's no weight, in distribution in any way, there's nothing that has to do with weight, but I just feel like it's just bearing down on me with the weapons, I'm like, I'll find it on the field. So I usually go with no weapons, and I'll usually end up killing somebody, and then I'll steal their weapon, and then I kill somebody else. Maybe I'll take their weapon, because you can hold up to 3 weapons. And there are some silenced weapons too. So yeah, so it definitely plays more into that stealth mechanic. Yeah, once I get caught, I'm running away, maybe shooting my way out a little bit until I can hide again, and then they stop looking for me. Then I'm back to stealth mode. Not only that, when you bring these weapons back to your safe house, technically you get to keep them. You get to keep these weapons into whenever you go to another area. Now again, once the loop is broken or once the loop is reset, then you lose the weapon. However, you can retain the weapon by upgrading it. The upgrades allow you to bring it's really only one upgrade. You can add attachments, but it's mainly upgrades. Whenever you upgrade a weapon, you bring it into your next loop. It'll always follow you now from now on. So now you'll never feel naked. So that's the sense of progression that you're gonna have here, And like I said, the goal is to really just gather as much information throughout the day, and just to minimize or to maximize, your time in your next loop. The whole thing is you got to kill these bosses. They're called visionaries. That's the whole idea of the game. Once you kill the visionaries, that's supposed to break the loop. That's the goal. However,
Oh,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off. I
No, no,
just have
please.
another question.
Go ahead.
You talked about this intel. Now, you said getting this information is like a fun way to get this information, or does it feel tedious?
Oh no, it's definitely fun. It's extremely fun as a matter of fact, because you never know what you're gonna find. You know what I'm saying? Like, just to give an example here, I might find something that leads to one of the boss's whereabouts, or two bosses' whereabouts, or it might be some information to find out what the boss is doing at this time in the day. Because throughout the day, the bosses are in different areas, and you have to kill them. However, if you kill them one at a time, you'll never be able to break the loop, because they're never in the same place. So you'll never be able to kill them one at a time. The whole goal is to try to gather as much information to get the bosses in the same area at the same time, to then kill them more efficiently. That's the whole goal. All right, so that's where your discoveries come into play. That's when your intel comes into play, and then you can do other things to like sabotage certain things, maybe to lead these bosses to in a certain area, try to try to get them all together. That's the whole thing. It's all about finding clues. It's Blue's Clues. Yeah, no, that.
Why are you gonna make me feel? Why are you gonna make me feel something, bro? You know we're out here, bro. Hey, Steve is proud of all of us. All right.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah,
Right.
and then like the thing is, but it's also beneficial to then kill these. If you want to kill the bosses individually, you can, because they have certain equipment on them that's like unique to them. They have certain features, like and for anyone who plays Dishonored, this is not a spoiler. Like if you know Dishonored, you know this. The shift ability, you can like just teleport from one area to the advance pretty quickly. Huge. I love that shift ability, because it's just like you just shifting all over the place, and this helps you get places faster. And I encourage, whenever you get these those abilities, that's really what you want to spend your currency, I guess, into, to make sure you carry that over to your next loop, so you're never losing that.
Is there an in-game currency?
Yes, it's called Residium. You collect it throughout the map, and that currency is then used to upgrade your weapons, to bring it. And it's not even just weapons. It's weapons. It's these little, just like equipment to make you better. Like give you a double jump ability, maybe to make you a little stronger, stuff like that. Like increase your health or health regen, just little buffs. There's even stuff that are like nerfs. Like if you want to challenge, there's one that'll just constantly poison you for some reason. You can sell these, and then you can get more currency so you can upgrade other ones. The whole thing is, let's say you're about to end your day, you want to make sure you spend as much of that you can, because you'll never carry it over to the next day. So always spend it. Always spend it. That's the whole thing. But yeah, like I was saying, I just want to give you a quick example of what I was doing in my shift ability. There was one guy, like he was about to I threw a bottle, it broke, and he was actually coming. He wasn't going to where the bottle broke at. He was actually coming to where I was located at. And I was like, oh man, like I don't know, how am I going to get out of this, right? And I see, because you can tag people as well, so I can see him coming around the corner since I tagged him, and I'm like, I got nowhere to hide. I'm like in this little cubby hole, just like standing there. Like, I'm just waiting for him to come around the corner. Maybe I could just blast him. But then his friends are there too. So instead, what did I do? Is I had the shift ability ready. I was holding the button, and I could see where I'm gonna land. So as soon as he breaks the corner, I shifted right behind him, and then I just took him out from behind. Oh, it was so sick. So just stuff like that.
Satisfying.
And yeah, it's stuff like that I do love, and I feel like Arcane they nail it pretty well. I feel like, and even in the Dishonored series as well. It's just one of those things that you're like, man, can I do this? And then you do it, and you're like, oh man, that was cool. Like, yeah, it's extremely satisfying. But in a nutshell, that's kind of the premise of the game. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
It's like, I can do this. What else can I do? Questions for later. Like, let's keep on the loop.
Yeah,
sounds like.
And like the map, like I said, is broken into 4 different areas. They're more like I would treat them like a playground, right? So like, because like these areas are like, and you can visit, like I said, the same area in different times of the day, because it's always different. The enemies that are in this section in the morning, it may not be in the same section at night. They might, or like for example, I see these 2 guys like picking at this wall in the morning, and then I come back later at night, and there's a hole in that wall now. So it's just stuff like this.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very smart, dude. It's done very well. It's like you could see that they literally just took out layout, and it's not the biggest map. They're small areas, they're just like open areas. They're not even an open world. But it's just like, but it's done so smart, like where they make those little changes where, they could just use literally the same map. They just make these little minor changes that make it seem like it's different times in the day, and that's how you kind of like it always feels fresh. It feels new,
So You kind of answered my next question. It was gonna be about like different times of day during the bosses. So like, what? I know you had gripes with Dishonored 2.
Hmm.
Has that carried through with this game, or has it quelled a lot of the problems that you had?
I'm glad you asked, and it's so funny because like I was gonna like try to keep Dishonored 2 away from this, but I guess you kind of
You gotta
can't.
talk about
Yeah,
it.
you got to talk about
Yeah,
it.
you gotta.
So my problem with Dishonored 2, because I know a lot of people love it, and I like it. I didn't fall in love with it, and playing this game kind of makes me want to go back to it. Uh, it's there was certain areas where I just feel like let's say if you're walking like upright or you're running, obviously they can hear your footsteps. However, even if you're on the second floor versus the enemy being on the first floor, they can still hear your footsteps, which I think is incredibly stupid. Whatever. This game did have it, there was two things that happened wrong so far for the few hours that I've played it. There was one where an enemy's back was completely turned towards me, and so I'm just sneaking up behind him, and his vision thing is going off. Like you could see, they have like a little vision icon where you can see when they're about to notice you. All right, so he pretty much saw me through the back of his head. I don't know how. So the game, I guess, was registering him as walking one way, but his vision being in a whole different way. I don't know. Good.
Now, did he have eyes behind the back of his head?
He had a helmet I couldn't see.
God, you never can.
Yeah, you can't get it. What else? There was another time also where I was doing something mission related, and I gathered an intel, and um, after you have a little conversation with it's story based, so you have a little conversation with another person you're talking to over the radio, and then it's supposed to give you control. Well, the game never gave me control, and my character just stood standing there, couldn't do anything. I literally had to restart the mission and kind of do everything all over again. That right there kind of sucked. But yeah, it still
First
didn't.
immersion.
Yeah, it breaks immersion. Didn't ruin the experience overall, but it's just those little moments where you're just like, oh, like I don't like that. But for the most part, everything's been great. I love the characters. I think Colt is a very interesting character. The voice actor who plays him, I think, does phenomenal. Like I don't know, he's very interesting. And the main story is about breaking the loop. If you want to learn more about Colt, it's more of a side story. Like you kind of have to like do a little more digging, and that's what I like about this game. It encourages more side exploration because it could help you in the main mission also. So yeah, so you sometimes you want to go off the beaten path. Like one of the side missions had me, find clues, and I found out it was for like a legendary weapon because his weapons have grades as well. And with the so like you have their like common weapons and your better legendary. You've played Destiny, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, so you got weapons like that. So one of my missions led me to like a nice sniper rifle. It's like one shot, one kill, no matter where you shoot them, that sort of thing. So it's crazy stuff like that. The game has tons of style, very stylistic. It's got this like '60s and I'm talking like England '60s, where everything pop, like pop art and stuff like that. Like, oh, dude,
yeah.
it looks awesome. And like I said, the main characters, their voices are great. I love Juliana. She's the girl who's always trying to stop you. She's awesome as well. Like and the banters they usually have between each other, Colt and and Juliana, awesome, just phenomenal.
Have you had any? Do you play with the intervention? If for those who don't know, there's a character constantly trying to character, and someone can control that character. Have you had a real person trying to interrupt your game, or have you turned that off completely?
I've turned it off completely. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's when they implement these stupid people that allow you to enter it. Like I hate when Metal Gear did it for your base, your mother base or whatever. I hate it when Watch Dogs did it. I hate when this game does it, and it's just like I wouldn't mind normally, but it's just like I'm playing the mission. All right, I'm playing single player. I don't want to play it. Like I don't want to get caught because some dude decided to play online and then they decided to put this person in my world. I like they show you how it works by having like an AI do it, or it's like impersonating a person, so that way you have like it's like a tutorial, like so you have an idea of how it works. But no, I haven't really tried it myself just because I'm not for it. I don't like when games do that. I think they're stupid. I think it's a dumb idea. But maybe some people, I guess it's for some people. You know what I'm saying? It's just not for me.
Yeah, because some people said you really learned the breadth of game of the killing and the hiding and the gabagoo when you do this more. But I could totally understand where you're coming from. Because sometimes, like, yo, I'm trying to get my assassination on. I
Yeah.
ain't trying to worry about this dude, teabagging my dead body.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. No.
No. Exactly.
But that leads me to my last, maybe most important question, Liquid.
Mm-hmm.
Game of the year?
Ooh, dude, you know what's funny is that I was thinking about this last night. I was in the shower thinking about this last night. You know, all us suds just sudded the F up. Yeah, dude. I was in the shower and I was thinking. I was like, so far, my games of the year. I'm gonna list them off real quick. I only have 4 so far. All right, and it's
Liquid's game of the year,
so,
nominations.
So far, we've got Returnal. We've got Ratchet and Clank. We've got Psychonauts 2, and we got Deathloop. Those are the 4 right there so far.
2 Xbox games, 2 PlayStation games. You know what I'm saying?
If you want to say it, yeah. 2 Xbox Studio games, sure.
So Liquid, the year's not over. We got a couple big contenders, which we'll talk about later in the show.
Oh yeah.
But if you were to like onto your head, like freeze, it's the game of the year.
Ooh.
Right now.
My initial thought's gonna say Ratchet and Clank. Yeah, that's my initial just because dude, playing Ratchet and Clank, it's so funny because in the beginning I was just like, ooh, I don't see why you would need a PS5 for this game. And then I got to a certain level and I'm like, oh, this is why you need the PS5 for this game. It's just stuff like that. So, and then not only that, I love Ratchet and Clank. They're one of my favorite series of all time. So that's where I'm at so far. But Deathloop is, dude, it's contending. It's up there, man. It really is.
Wow, so basically what you're saying, you got to a part of the game where ray tracing happened, and you're like, oh, traces of ray.
You see, you would think that
it's so pretty.
You would think that, but I actually don't have it on. I'm trying to maximize as much frames as possible, because it's a shooter.
Story game?
It's a shooter, dude. It's also a shooter.
No,
it's a first person. I need my frame. Look, yes, even in a story-based game, I prefer frames over resolution 100%, dude. A better experience overall for me. That's where I'm at.
I guess gameplay is key. I agree with you to a point. But if I had Ratchet and Clank and I had the TV that could showcase it, dude,
yeah,
bro. I want to see the pretty thing.
Yeah.
That's me, though. But you know what's good about it? Gives you the option. Something for you, something for me.
Exactly.
I'm down for that. So
yeah, no, that is great.
I for sure, by the way, quick cut, very quick. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm cutting you off.
No, go right ahead. I think it's great.
I really thought your game of the year was going to be Returnal.
Honestly, I thought so too, but... So the reason why I haven't said Returnal, or the reason why I'm kind of leaning more towards Ratchet and Clank is because, remember, I was supposed to platinum Returnal, and I wanted to. The thing is, there's one thing that is bothering me, and it's just the inconsistency of where things spawn at, and how long it takes me to get that platinum. That's kind of I have to deduct points for that, because that's the type of game, or that's how I like to play my game. You know what I'm saying? So that's sort of where I'm at. If I go back to it, maybe it might change my mind, but I don't know, man. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, I'll ask one more question and I'll stop.
Yeah, no, please.
Okay. So, if Hades came out this year, dog, is Hades your number one?
It's so funny because when I was in the shower last night, I was thinking of Hades as well, and I'm like, Hades would be up there, and then I'm just like, but it didn't come out this year, so I'm not gonna answer that. No, I'm kidding. I'll answer it. I'm not. I ain't no little. I'll answer it. Would it be my game of the year this year? I'd still probably say no. And only because I haven't beaten it yet. I feel like if I loved it that much, I would have beaten it by now, and I haven't. So maybe I don't love it as much as I say I do. Maybe I'm just a poser.
Or maybe you're just not the gamer you think you are, and you can't.
Yeah, maybe I just suck, dude. Maybe I just suck at games, dude.
Come on, look, you're supposed to fight me on it.
My bad.
I feel bad.
My bad.
I feel bad. I'm sorry, look, you're a great gamer. All right.
I needed that.
Your Katie is so good.
Yeah.
Good.
But I mean, that's pretty much it though with Deathloop. I mean, that's kind of it in a nutshell. That's my feelings towards it. I can't wait to play more. I'll be getting my PlayStation back tomorrow, so I will be diving right back into it. And like I'm taking my time with this game. Like I'm trying to do all the side stuff, and I didn't think I was gonna do that in this type of game. I'm trying to do as much side stuff as I can, and trying to carry over as much weapons as I can. I want to kill all of these bosses at once in the way I want to do it. Just make it look all cool. You know, it's all for Flash.